The year is 1978, and Palitoy bring you Star Wars. Here on Death Star, Ben Kenobi combats the awesome power of Darth Vader, while Han and Leia battle for their lives in the trash compactor. Luke evades the stormtroopers with R2, D2, and C-3PO. But can he escape in the X-Wing fighter? Only you will know. Only you can create your own Star Wars. Death Star, vehicles, figures, all sold separately. May the Force be with you.
Hello and welcome to the Analog Toys live stream. And I thought while a lot of our friends are away at either Joe Fest or the DFW G.I. Joe show, I know there's a lot of us who can't make it. So while they're all having fun there, we can have a little bit of fun here. So the best way to have fun is to invite a couple of very special guests. I didn't officially announce this, but I've got two of my really good friends here, two very passionate Star Wars collectors, and I couldn't think of anyone else to join me on this stream about the weird and wonderful variations of Palitoy Star Wars playsets. So, first of all, I would like to introduce my friend, Mr. Michael Shaffer. How are you doing, sir?
Good evening, Tony. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no, it's as you said, you're not, Saturdays aren't normally good for you, but it was just serendipitous that it panned out. So.
Thank you. Yeah, perfect. I'm excited to talk about it.
Good. Is that just water or is it a pint of vodka?
No. Oh, man. I can drink, but I can't drink that well. No, that's just water. That's water.
And we have another Michael that some people might know. You might not. He is the team manager for Kandagawa Jet Girls. It's Michael French.
Hi, everyone. Just got off the riverside, and girls are doing well on the jet skis. So just wanted to hang out tonight with Michael and Tony and talk some vintage Star Wars. So I'm glad to see the chat is jumping, and everybody seems to already be in good spirits, especially since 70% of our audience is at one toy show or another this weekend or something. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to see anyone at the show tuning into YouTube, but here we have wrong one. Sorry, Master Son 42. He's at DFW, member for 7 months. Thank you for being here, Master Son. And M Vargo is also at DFW, member for 9 months. Thank you very much. So we're going to talk tonight about the weird and wonderful Palitoy variations of their playsets, which really consisted of the first 2 years of the Palitoy Star Wars run. After that, they just kind of followed suit with Kenner. What I wanted to start off with was by asking my guests, and Michael Shaffer, I'll go with you first. Do you have any of the early Palitoy playsets?
I do not. Unfortunately, I do not know.
Unfortunately. So there might be one that you want.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's for lack of having them isn't a lack of desire. Absolutely. I've been eyeing up that Palitoy Death Star ever since I learned about it. Really, it's gorgeous. I mean, it's a hemisphere of anyway. Yeah, we'll go into that, I'm sure. So
yeah. And Michael.
Yes, sir.
Do you own any Palitoy playsets?
Only by the grace of God. Actually, by the grace of William Kilford, do I own one. I had been aware of the Palitoy Death Star going all the way back to the early to mid 90s when they brought out the Tomart Star Wars toy guides. and they would feature it on the cover in a collage of other rare memorabilia to entice you to buy the book. And you sat there in this analog world right before we were stepping into the digital age, it was pre-internet, going, what is that? And you go into the book and you flip to the right section, and sure enough, they say, this is the outside the United States Death Star playset. You go, good Lord, that thing's amazing. And I was kicking myself because those guides came out literally like 18 months after I returned from the UK. So even though there was no easy way for me to go to boot sales and things like that, if I had at least known it existed, I might have been able to get my parents to take me to boot sales and stuff and maybe possibly find something. You don't know if you don't look, right?
Yeah.
So I had been dreaming about it, but I never thought I'd own it. I never thought, because it was cardboard and they were easily destroyed. And then one day I get one in the mail from England from a very kind man named William Kilford, who asked me to restore his Meccano R2-D2 as a exchange for it. And that man had the patience of Job, and it was a complete Palitoy Death Star in beautiful condition, with still had the box. The box had some, ripped up flaps and stuff, but the whole thing was there. Every clip, every cannon, every turret, everything was there. And I was just like, I don't know how to thank this person enough. So yeah, by the grace of God, I have a Palitoy Death Star.
Does it have the figure stands with it?
No, it does not have the figure stands. Oh, okay. Wow. Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is just a star stand, but
right.
How dare you, Repro? How dare you?
The most commonly reproduced Star Wars item there is, and all the anti-repro crowd have hundreds of these in their collections.
Yep.
Yeah, the Death Star that I recently acquired, it didn't have the stands. And for anyone who was watching the 3POA after show last week, on the after show, me and Bobby would talk, because Bobby's looking for a Palitoy Death Star. And what he was doing, there was one he was watching on eBay, and it was only missing the stands. And Bobby's a real completist. It's got to have the stands. And he found another listing in the UK for a guy selling 6 of the original stands. And he started talking about this on the 3POA after show about 2 minutes after I had purchased it on my phone. But it turns out, we were looking afterwards, that this listing in the UK, the guy had 3 sets. So and he only wanted, like, I want to say it was £30 for them for 6 original stands. So I've got the Action Force headquarters that came with 6 stands. The one that I acquired, it only had 2 of them left. So that's missing 4 stands. But yeah, I've got 6 in the mail. So,
well, I didn't even realize that. I thought it was like Marion Ravenwood's figure stand, where you weren't going to ever find them anymore. So I was never like, I have the Action Force playset with no stands. I have the Palitoy Death Star with no stands. But it sounds to me like if I just start an eBay search, they might come up and I can get them. So that would be cool, I guess.
Yeah, I'll send you the listing after this, because it's a very reputable seller. I have compared the photos with the 2 Action Force stands that I have. There are some markings on the bottom where you can identify them as being original. And yeah, and he had 3 sets of 6 up for sale, and I only purchased 1. And I don't think Bobby's pulled the trigger on the other one, because I just sent him a link for a Action Force cardboard headquarters that's pretty much complete. I think he might be going for that instead. Who knows? No. He's at DFW.
Yeah, there's no telling what he's picked up there. Yeah.
This is rivet counting question, but if memory serves, Palitoy included those or similar stands with some of their figures or their accessory packs. The clear stands, no, weren't they?
With the Action Force accessory packs. So I've got 3 original Action Force weapon packs. They did 5 for the 4 different teams, and then the Red Shadows.
Right.
I've got 3 of the 5 carded, and each one, it has 1 or maybe 2 figure stands in it. Yeah.
But they're no different, right? It's not like the Action Force ones are
exactly the same.
Palitoy. Okay. So Palitoy is Palitoy. So you could theoretically, I don't know that they'd be cheaper, but Star Wars usually adds a premium compared to most other toy lines.
Yeah, no, this guy's listing in the UK, it was for 6 original Palitoy Star Wars / Action Force figure stands. They're exactly the same. Because actually, what's that European version of the Snowtrooper that comes with an SA-80 rifle? Is it the YPS?
I mean, is the brand Uze?
No, I don't think it's Uze. So it's the Imperial Snowtrooper with the skirt, but instead of coming with the Kenner Blaster rifle, he comes with an Action Force SA-80. I think it's a black one.
Yes.
It's a very rare variation. Well, there's only one way to get that SA-80 in Action Force, and that is in the SAS weapons pack. And I have that carded. If I wanted to open that card, take that weapon out, and put it with a vintage Stormtrooper, I could sell it for hundreds of dollars more. But I don't sell
this is
toys,
why anti-repro is dumb.
Exactly. I'll just catch up on.
I mean, to be really nitpicky, not to mention, I know I've said this before, but it's true. Every weapon, unless it's the one that came in the package with the figure, is a reproduction. Even if it's from Kenner, it's not the original. I mean, let's not be hypocrite here. How holy, how pure is their religion that they want to have this pure, real thing? Well, that's not real if it isn't the same lightsaber that came with Luke. If it's just another Luke's lightsaber.
Right.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I'm going to catch up on a few chats here. So Jason Evangelista says, someday I'd love to own this version of the Death Star playset. I think every vintage Star Wars fan, even if you're a Kenner guy, it's that one foreign item because it is such a large piece, and it is very, very cool. It's that one item that even Kenner collectors are like, no, if I'm going to get anything foreign, that's the item that everybody wants. So,
yep.
Last call with Troy Pacelli.
Sorry, to the point that it's been over time, several people have perfectly recreated it in kits for people to, get a few X-Wing cannons and you can, put it back together. Yeah.
And it's not crap card stock like the rest of the Kenner. Not that the Kenner stuff, but it's not Cloud City cardboard.
Right.
This is like press board with printed cardboard on both. Anyway, it's sturdy.
And the Toll Toys one is even thicker. It's like chipboard.
Really?
It's much even more sturdy than the Palitoy one. Yeah.
Wow.
Is that the one you have? Is the Toll Toys one?
No, I have the Palitoy one. The Toll Toys one was Australia and New Zealand. Yeah.
That's why I asked, because since where you are, I wondered if maybe the one you acquired was a Toll Toys, which would have been amazing.
I would have been open to a Toll Toys one, but the one that just came across my path, it was Palitoy, which is the one I really wanted, because even though I live in Australia, when I was collecting Star Wars, I was in the UK, so I wanted the Palitoy version.
Here's the thing, man. Like, and I know this is like hindsight 2020 and everything like that. But if the Toll Toys one is as kick-ass as you've just described it to be, and it's so unique, and I remember them talking about Toll Toys to me a lot when I was over there dropping off that sail barge. We had a lot of conversations about Toll Toys. If you had come across a Toll Toys, but you really wanted a Palitoy one, I bet you I could have told William, and he'd have been fine with us doing a trade.
I'm sure he would have been.
Obviously, water under the bridge. It's all fine now. I'm just saying that sounds very interesting, the Toll Toys one. So.
It is, yeah. And even Evander was speaking to me the other day that apparently the Meccano version in France doesn't have the mirror sticker in the bottom of the reactor shaft.
Really?
He believes there's a variation that doesn't have the reflective sticker at the bottom. So
wow,
that may just be the Meccano one. So because I believe the cardboard playset was sold in Australia, New Zealand, France, Canada, and the UK, and there are differences. Because with the Toll Toys one on the underside of it, I think it's got a completely different graphic, and it obviously says Toll Toys, not Palitoy as well. So
wow, God, that'd be
we're going down a rabbit hole. It's not quite the same rabbit hole that you went down this week with Hong Kong Action Cinema, but
Yeah, but the rabbit hole we're going down right now could or could not have a mirror at the bottom. We don't know. So it just all depends.
At this time and in this parallel, the movie was called This, but in this, I mean, it was incredible.
Dude, that video was originally titled How to Survive a Recasting. And all I was doing was looking up basic information and graphics to get ready while I was scripting that video to make sure that my information was correct. It took one Google search with images that came up, and I went, what mouth of madness am I staring into? I was like, I have no idea what's just happened, but clearly the recasting isn't the story here. Like, it's something else. And Tony, I know you've done this before where you've been working on a video thinking you're going in one direction, and then suddenly you find that the video pulls you into a whole nother vortex, and that's what happens. That's what comes out of it. So,
as a matter of fact, this live stream was born out of that very thing. So I acquired the Palitoy Death Star, and I'm not really in the script writing stage yet, but I had some video ideas bouncing around in my head, and I was like, other people have done videos about the Palitoy Death Star. Even Broken Vader did an excellent video about the Palitoy Death Star.
He did. My forehead hurts when I think about it. Yeah.
And I thought, no one's ever done a video encompassing all of the Palitoy playset variations.
Mm-hmm.
So I started looking into acquiring the others, and I knew about the Cantina, which we'll get onto later in the show, and Land of the Jawas. I didn't realize that the Droid Factory was different. And I was telling Michael Shaffer before we started, I started to add up, do the math in my head, because I don't actually own a Kenner Cantina, Land of the Jawas, or Droid Factory. So I would need to buy the Kenner versions to show the differences. Mm-hmm. Then I'd need to buy and I was like, wow, I'm going to invest close to $5,000 into a video that's probably going to make $97 in ad revenue.
which is why I've said thousands of times in the last decade, guys like you and I, we are business savvy. We know how to invest $500 to get $40 back. And I don't know how you can compete with that genius. I really don't.
That is literally my Masters of the Universe Horde video. I think I spent $1,000 on that, and the video's made like $220. Hey, at least I've got the toys in my collection now.
Yeah, when I end up doing that Tomb Raider Pistols video, I'm not even going to want to look at the cost investment versus return ratio. It's not going to be good. It's going to be ugly.
But you wanted those in your collection, so.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, similarly, I'm sure there are things you wanted in your collection while you also did the video, and then you were like, it still makes you feel a little like putting on the dunce cap, just a little bit, Yep.
Well, yeah. The money that I've spent on Galoob A-Team in the last month has been nuts, and I don't know why I'm doing it, but
it's because you're doing them. You're doing these. That's why your bank account is just draining out, because there's so much of it, and it's all so rare. If you had just
I'm going to show people everything, every single vehicle, not all the different color variations of the figures. I have a couple of examples to show, but yeah.
Look, if you had just gone after the front butt figures, you wouldn't be feeling this pain right now. They'd be ugly, and they'd be nightmare fuel. I mean, it's a clown show, but you wouldn't be hurting in the wallet. That's all I'm saying.
Unless you have to buy the big headquarters playset for the 6-inch figures, because that's just
the last unicorn. The last unicorn. Yeah. God. If you ever find that, let me know.
Likewise. Last call with Troy Pacelli. He says, have a great stream, Tony. Thank you very much, Troy. I wanted to bring this up because I was scheduled to be on Troy's stream last night. It's Mental Health Month. He was doing a stream about it. I really wanted to be on there. And then quite unexpectedly, the town of Port Hedland asked me. I've started doing a little bit of video production on the side for companies locally. It was the Port Hedland Pride Parade yesterday, and I was asked to go and film a video. So I filmed some stuff with the drone and and all of that. So, but thank you for the invite, Troy. It was a great stream. I caught some of it on the replay. For those of you who haven't watched it, please, after this, head over to Last Call with Troy Pacelli and catch his stream from last night. Thanks for being here, Troy. Mvargo, member for 9 months. I know I've already brought this up, but I did see in the chat that Mvargo said, unfortunately, last minute kind of family issues, he couldn't make it to DFW. So I'm really sorry. I know how much you were looking forward to that. Hopefully this will be some sort of compensation, getting to hang out with me and Eminem, Michael and Michael. Cosmic Gladiator, thank you. He's gifted 5 Analog Toys memberships. That's very kind of you, sir, and very much appreciated. And Jason Anderson, too kind, sir. He gifted 10 Analog Toys memberships. Thank you very much. I won't be doing any kind of an after show today. But I am planning on doing a Patreon member-only live stream on Thursday night, because which will be Friday for me. I happen to have Friday off, so I'll post some links for that later in the week. So for channel members and patrons, members-only stream on Thursday.
Sweet.
The Dragon Reborn says the German comic was called YPS. So there was a German comic that came out that had a Kenner Empire Strikes Back Imperial Snowtrooper, and it came with an SA-80. I just can't remember what color it was. I'm sure it was the black. It came with the black one. Because in the Action Force line, the white SA-80 came with the Mountain and Arctic guy. There was a silver one that came with the Ground Assault. The only way to get the black one is in this weapons pack that features one of the figure stands. So those weapons packs are quite desirable because people can rip them open and take those parts out. So
I know it's YPS that did it, even though it was a Palitoy accessory with a Palitoy Stormtrooper. But I'm saying this with no sarcasm. I absolutely love the fact that happened. And I so desperately wish that more of that had happened back then. I would love to know, it doesn't exist, but I would love to know that there's like a variation of Bespin Luke on a Palitoy card back or a YPS card back, but he comes with an Uzi. Like that would be so cool. I want that so bad. I would hunt that down to the end of the earth. I'd be like, this is my Bespin Luke with lightsaber and Uzi. Like,
give him Rock and Roll's machine gun or something. I don't know of any other Star Wars variations like that, but in the Palitoy line, Action Force line, particularly in Germany, but there are lots of quite well-known miscarded figures like towards the end of the run where Baron Ironblood would come with a Stormtrooper blaster. And so the other way, there's a lot of Action Force figures that people have got carded examples where they're packed in with a Han Solo, a Star Wars weapon, a Han Solo blaster, and things like that. So,
I would love to replay that. I would love to be 7 years old, sitting in the floor with Vader and Bespin Luke, and he's like, "You are not a Jedi yet." And he's like, Vader just goes down. It's like
Luke Dagobah Luke with training harness and Chuck Norris Invasion Tatooine Mac 10s.
Yeah. See? That'd be great. Your weapons, you will not need them.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, good stuff.
Mr. Shaffer, you just pitched a far better idea for a Disney Plus show than the Acolyte. Could you imagine Chuck Norris and Luke Skywalker together?
Oh man, that would be so great. Invasion Bespin, or like Invasion Cloud City, or something like that. And you get that poster painting of Luke, once again with the rip pecs, with the open shirt, with the two ooze. Oh, Michael Schaefer's full of good ideas. Oh, I love it.
And V. Connolly, thank you very much for the very kind super chat. Says, just getting ready to head over for the DFW toy swap and chill with some more awesome people. Just wanted to stop by and see you're all amazing, and we can't wait to gather together with you guys again. Oh, can't wait to see you guys again. Yesterday, V. Connolly was going around the show with Master Son 42, and they said, hey, they heard me mention, I think it might have been on the 3POA last week, if anybody finds a vintage 1960s African-American G.I. Joe soldier, I'm in the market for one. And I just want the loose figure because I've got vintage G.I. Joe uniforms that I can put him on, and I don't really want him in my collection as just the basic soldier. I'd like to make him a Green Beret or a military policeman or something like that. And I'm kind of familiar with the price for a loose one. They came across, and I actually know the seller. I met the seller at Joe Fest a couple of years ago. Really nice guy, well known in the 12-inch community. His name's Ace. In fact, you might have done the panel with him at Toylanta. Was Ace on the panel? Long-haired guy?
Oh, yeah. That's right. Thanks for the memory jog. Yes, that's correct. Yep.
He's at DFW, and he's selling a 1960s painted hair African-American soldier. But it's mint and complete and in the box. I was like, yeah, I don't think that's in my price range, Clemens and Vichay. What's he asking? Just a cool $5,000 for a doll.
You know, it's either that or all those Palitoy playsets you're planning on buying. I mean,
I could buy all of the Palitoy playsets for less than that.
Yeah,
not much.
True.
Yeah. And Snake Eyes, thanks to you for the European Euro super chat. He says it's UEPS with a whoa. I can't pronounce that.
An umlaut.
What's an umlaut?
It's double dot over the U.
Yeah, it's that little 2 dots.
Gotcha.
Like the fake German name Haagen-Dazs, that's American ice cream, but they put spell it with 2 A's and put a dot over the one. Yeah, that one. I mean, it's delicious, but it's
overpriced.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the super chat, Snake Eyes. Okay.
You will never taste better chocolate than this, American.
Yeah.
Papers, please.
It's rich. We must see your papers for the ice cream. The party cannot begin until we see your papers.
Your vanilla is not in order. I will show you how to make the vanilla.
We only serve vanilla. No Napoleon. He is a fascist.
Well, we are 30 minutes in and I haven't even pulled my slide pack up yet.
We're going to derail this thing. Sorry.
By all means, they're the best streams when they get derailed. Yes, I have prepared a slide pack to try and keep me on track. So we've already talked quite a lot about the Palitoy Death Star.
Yep.
Of course, this was the first playset that Kenner did for the Star Wars line in the United States. I acquired one of these, I want to say, I don't know, 7-8 years ago. I got a complete one in the box that was only missing the rope to swing across the bridge, and then probably paid $50 just to acquire that piece a little while later.
Yep.
This is still a very, very good playset, but it is entirely different to the Palitoy version.
Yep.
And the reason that they didn't bring this to the UK is because they didn't want to rely on having to borrow the tooling. To actually pay to recreate the tooling was going to be very, very expensive for all the large injection molded components. And at the time, Palitoy went, even if Star Wars is supremely popular, the UK market is a fraction of the consumer base in the United States. So let's come up with a different option. So they came up with a cardboard version. This is the one that I recently acquired from a Facebook seller, and I want to give him a shout out because I've been buying quite a lot from him lately. For some reason, I don't know what my friend Michael here has done to me, but every time this guy posts a complete Bespin loot for sale, I buy it. And I've bought like 6 in the last 6 months.
Wow.
I think I'm.
Are you becoming a focus collector?
I never really have been before outside of like Big Ben from G.I. Joe. And I think I'm maxed out. Like I've got 6 or 7 complete Big Bens now and a carded one. Now I'm buying Bespin Luke's, and originally my excuse was, oh, that hair color's slightly different. This one's slightly better condition, and but I want to give a shout out to Derek's Vintage Toys on Facebook. He's based down in Perth. For anyone in Australia, if you collect not just Star Wars but any kind of vintage toys, go and join his Facebook page. He's actually a registered business. When you make a purchase from him, you actually get a receipt and everything like that. This guy has some fantastic deals. He does like deals of the day where he'll have 3 or 4 complete Star Wars figures and he'll just do a flash sale for a bargain price. And he had this up for sale for a while, and I was tempted, but it was out of my price range. And then out of the blue, he did a 24-hour flash sale where he dropped like $600 off the price. And at which point I went, boom, I'm getting this.
Wow.
So it was, as I said, complete aside from the stands.
Wow.
Although I've now gone and acquired the stand. So at the moment, this is just sitting on the floor in the collection room like a bit of rubbish. I might let the cats in there one day and just see if they'll play with it. No, I won't do that. I don't know how. So I'm going to leave this kind of set up like this until I make my video, which will come in the next month or two. I have no idea how to display this after I do the video. It's probably going to get packed back away. I'm glad I got a box one because I might end up just displaying the box. Do you have the box for yours, Michael?
Yes, it's not as it doesn't have the structural integrity that yours still does. It like the facings are fine, but because it lost a lot of its flappage on either side, on either end, it tends to, not stand up very well. I keep the box stored, and just for everybody's trivia, that big central case display shelving, which was supposed to have doors. I won't go into that. The carpenter was a huckster. Anyway, that central case was designed and custom put in there by me hiring someone to do it, because I measured the footprints of Boulder Hill and the Palitoy Death Star to get the right shelf depths to make sure that I had enough room. So yeah, I'm fortunate that I can display mine, always built. But it's the opposite of your situation. My box for it would constantly just look sad and like a piece of trash that's just sitting, somewhere. So,
and you have to constantly tell people that's no board game. That's space station.
So the box I have, it's not as in good a condition as what it looks in the photos. Like one end flap has completely ripped off and it's had a bit of a repair, and there's actually a few bits on the side where the color printing has ripped off, and they've done a really good job. They've just like cutted it in with some felt pens,
right?
But it's reasonable. I think I'm actually probably going to get an acrylic display case for this just because of what it is. The box probably isn't good enough condition to deserve it, but it's one of those I've wanted this thing for 40 years.
Oh, sure.
I finally got one. So
yeah, 100%.
Same Time Toys here says, put it on a plexiglass shelf. The thing is, Same Time Toys, if you go and watch my collection tour video, you'll see that there is nowhere to put a shelf like that in my collection room is jam-packed. Like I don't have my Action Force cardboard headquarters on display. I just don't have the room for something with that kind of footprint. I mean, most of my Action Man vehicles are all boxed away as well. So
the only place you could even theoretically put it is on the top cabinet in the middle of the room, and then you never see the damn thing because it's up too high.
Exactly. And I thought about that, and I was like, I really don't want to have to take down my Action Man fire tender because I just love that. It's such a great centerpiece to the room. I thought, is there a way of like hanging it on the wall, but it doesn't work? I'm sure there are people out there who've like put G.I. Joe flags on the ceiling and stuff, but no. I don't know. At least I've got it, and I'll immortalize it forever in a video, and then it can get packed away for a while.
Yeah,
and you're not going to be there forever. I mean, you You
Right.
do have future plans, so eventually
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
display.
My future plans, there will be a space to display this.
Right.
So, Michael, you're going to say something?
Sorry.
I was just going to say, yeah, the nice thing about it is it does pack down flat. It's like IKEA furniture. It packs down flat. Whereas the Kenner Death Star, yes, you can disassemble it, but it still requires a substantial box to store it in, because those pieces don't actually pack flat. So it's, I absolutely love this play set. Very well thought out. So much to do in a 360-degree play environment. I would have really, really had days and days of fun with this. Probably months and months, years of fun with this playset as a child. It would have been everything that I would have wanted out of a Death Star playset. Because remember, I wasn't aware that a previous Death Star playset in America had existed until I was in first or second grade of grade school, because they had already phased it out by the time I came of age to buy into the tail end of Empire and into Jedi. So it was, when I found out there was a Kenner Death Star, it was cool to see it, but it was a little weird because it was like, this is like a pizza slice of the Death Star stacked, almost like it's like a piece of cake. It's like a piece of cake out of the Death Star. It's not round,
It's almost like, long before it happened, but it's like that when the Borg slice into the Enterprise and pick out like a part of it. It's not the whole damn thing. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
And when I'm sure you guys were similar. When I was a kid, if I was going to play Star Wars, I would take my figures off on adventures that I would come up with, but I would often just like to recreate scenes from the film. And when they're kind of on the Death Star trying to dodge the stormtroopers, this is a far better environment for your figures to, run away and escape. There are places for them to go rather than just up and down in an elevator. You know what I mean?
And things to hide behind instead of just little tiny floors where it's like, I can see you, still see you. Like, you're each. Yeah.
And the other thing that drives me crazy in the modern era about this is we see Hasbro having to try and justify these massive prices for even things as simple as vehicles for this scale. And the play sets, as we've seen, we're talking $500. So we're talking half the price of, a Palitoy Death Star at this point. And I keep thinking to myself, if Hasbro would turn around and offer us this Palitoy Death Star, but to make it so that the collectors feel like they still have a vintage version, and it would be a really cool variant where they take this Death Star playset configuration and they just print more detailed movie style graphics on it. Like instead of it being artwork, maybe they do a digital rendering of all the different spaces from the set of the Death Star, gives it a totally refreshed look. And they put this out as a playset for people to display with their vintage collection action figures and even their vintage action figures. It wouldn't have to cost us $500. And I think collectors would eat it up. And yet they won't. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Think about I've already seen the Kenner Death Star with somebody recreating, the cardboard inserts, but doing a much more modern, like Michael said, a real realistic, background. Yeah. Great idea. Incredible idea. And like you said, they couldn't piss off any of the repro guys because not one slice or piece or wall is printed the same. It's
right. And I would want to buy it because I'd want to have that variation of it. I would love that. Jason Anderson saying, "Oh, it would still cost $500," which is probably true. But then we could really burn them up at that point because it'd be like, wait a second, you're not having to mold any plastic here. This is just thick card stock. Now we've caught you in your price gouging. But
$500, but it'll be free shipping because it's flat pack.
Right.
We'll pay for the shipping. Just come on down, plop your $2,500 $100 or $500, and yeah. Anyway,
which is why I'm so glad that the fan community has recreated this with different graphics over the years. You know, you could there for a while there was somebody offering it in different deco variations, and you know, yeah, it's such a cool concept. It's very well done.
Real quick question for either of you, and I don't know if this is even considered a playset because I've really seen hardly any videos about this. That weird mail away with the Darth Vader TIE fighter, you could get some sort of cardboard backdrop extension for the Death Star that you could dock like Darth Vader's TIE fighter in the bay. It was a cardboard thing you could send away for. I don't know. Does anybody have that or ever seen that?
Wait a second. Sorry, go ahead, Tony.
I've never seen it, but I know what you're talking about. It's kind of like the Cantina adventure set. You know, it's literally just a cardboard backdrop with a floor. There was so when they were doing around 83, they were re-releasing a lot of the early vehicles from Star Wars. And I think there were a collector series, like my Land Speeder's got a collector series box.
That's what
there was a version of the Darth Vader TIE fighter that came with this cardboard backdrop of like a Death Star hangar bay type thing.
Yes.
I've seen images online. I've never seen one in person.
And I think there's a second version. I forget which vehicle you could get it with. It might have been an X-Wing. I don't know for sure. Don't quote me on that. But there's a small variation in the graphics of the. It's not too long ago, maybe a month ago, I was looking at these things, not to really get them, but just because I knew they existed and I've not seen much done about them. And because of the Death Star that we're talking about tonight, now I'm thinking cardboard and thinking that. And somebody mentioned here, Return of the Jedi Death Star would be cool too. That would be a good reprint.
You've got me in a tailspin here, Michael, because now I'm like, this is the first time I'm even hearing about that.
Wow.
So
I
hold on.
I could do that to you.
It's a vintage Vader TIE fighter diorama.
Playset. This special offering. I forget what it's called.
Okay. Because I'm seeing obviously Vader TIE fighters all day, but I'm not seeing. It must be that hard to find. Like it must be. Maybe I'm wrong though. I've just made the show go quiet because I'm
typing too now.
I've lost my mind.
Picture.
I'm pulling up a photo for you. Here we go.
There you go.
Share screen.
How did you guys find I can't even Google search it properly. Like I don't even know what to look up.
So see in the corner, in the top left corner here, you've got the special offer. Darth Vader complete with battle scene setting, and it's got this cardboard backdrop.
In fact, our buddy Replicator Boxes makes one.
He makes one of those?
That's the image that came up for me when I searched.
Right.
And there is. I'm trying to find the other version.
Oh, there's two versions?
Well, yeah, another vehicle came with it. I just don't remember. Again, I was talking to a buddy of mine.
Was
and
it
we were
Slave
going
One?
On. I don't think it was. It's possible, but I don't want to. That's not jumping to mind or jumping to my.
Oh, someone said. Well,
what are they saying?
Huh. That is. Because that's not the micro. See, like Chronically is saying it's on the micro Vader TIE, but this is not the micro Vader TIE. This is the full Kenner one with that offer on it.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, I don't want to ruin the momentum of the show here, so I'm just gonna noodle on this and be distracted for the next like 17 days. But wow, okay.
Have you just found another piece of cardboard to spend $2,000 on?
Oh, if it's that much, oh God.
From what I've heard, these are not only rare, like some people even challenge whether they actually exist.
Right.
Yeah, because
it's clearly it's a real offer. It's a real thing. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
Was it? And it was something that was packed into the box. It wasn't like a mail away with proof of purchase, was it?
I think what I read, it was a mail away, but I could be wrong. I think you had to do something. I don't think they could fit it inside. I could be wrong though.
Right.
I thought it was one of those send in blah 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 and you can get this, but again, I could be wrong.
And you said that Replicator Boxes does a version of it.
Yes.
Oh, well, then I'm just going to him. I'm not even going to bother.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Because I eyed up he does a Palitoy Death Star, but it's not available right now.
Oh, because he's got to like do another run?
I think so, yeah.
Interesting.
It's affordable compared to the real thing.
Okay.
Anyway, I totally derailed this. I'm sorry, Tony.
No. You're fine. This is this is good when we're learning stuff about these toys we love. You know, none of us would claim to be experts.
No. Not me.
I love learning about this stuff. 80s Kid to the Max here says Dallas Vintage Toys had a complete one for $500. I don't know if you're talking about like the cardboard backdrop was complete or the actual box toy. I think that if you're talking the box toy complete with the backdrop, I would imagine it would go for more than that because, you know, they're not common.
Right. Oh, this is gonna wig me out for days. I'm like, oh, there's like a thing that I didn't know about. It's like when I figured out about R2D2's little butt thimble, and I realized that my Dagobah was missing it all those years ago. It was like, you know, for years you think, my Empire Strikes Back collection for vintage is complete, and then you're like, nah, it's not, because you're missing this one piece of Dagobah, and it's like, no. So like, this is one of those things.
When I made my Dagobah video recently, the amount of people in the comment section who are like, I never heard of this cylinder, this R2D2 butt plug. Oh, really? Never heard of it. Was it even mentioned on the box? It's like, it is mentioned in the instructions in a bottom corner, but yeah.
Yep.
Here it is. Replacement vintage Star Wars special offer Darth Vader TIE Fighter backdrop display. Oh, I'm going to be dropping money on this. I can already tell.
And if you keep searching, I think he does have whatever the other one is. I just can't remember what the hell it's called.
It's the Slave One, Tim Ward.
Okay. Tim Ward was, then it is that.
Tim Ward sent me a message. Let me pull this up.
It's almost identical.
Yes, it's almost, it's very slightly different.
I'm going to end up buying both. I'm just going to buy both. Because I'm broken. I'm broken. That's just what I'm going to do.
I had no idea I could possibly do this.
Look, it's better than me investing in more anime stuff. All right, so it's fine.
Or turtles.
I don't invest in turtles.
No, I know.
I don't invest in them turtles. See, that must have been, I must have said Slave One reflexively because that image must have been in one of those price guides back in the day, and I just my brain only remembered it way in the background.
Yep.
So
everything's in there, we just can't access the information.
Right.
The brain took the picture, it's up there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what though? This is only fair karma, everybody. So for everybody in the comments listening, I had a wonderful conversation with Michael last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, and I accidentally mentioned that there were some Power of the Force 2 play sets that look good next to the vintage stuff, and then he like sent me a tongue-in-cheek message a few days later saying, "What have you done to me? I'm now looking for some of these and buying them." So this was only fair that you just dropped this trivia, and I'm like, what? So yeah.
That must be subliminal, because that truly was not my intention. I just thought for sure you knew about it, and we're like, yeah, I don't need that. But now apparently, I'm going to apologize for the 5th time. We're on this stream. We're supposed to be talking about Palitoy, and here I am derailing everything. It's fine, whatever. Okay,
fine. Let's use this as an opportunity to catch up on a few super chats. So, last call with Troy Pacelli has been a member for 9 months. Thank you very much, Troy. We have a Dillinghammism. Thank you very much, Brian Dillingham.
Kylie
I never know how to pronounce this. Zocab. Thank you very much for the very kind super chat. It says, because it's you guys, I had to pop in here before the pre-evening activities at Joe Fest 2024. I had a great conversation with Josh Blaylock last night at the bar. Anywho, you all are missed. Wish you were here. Maybe see you at another one. I don't know who Josh is. Am I missing something there?
I know who Jolene Blaylock is.
Your guess is as good as mine. I'm not trying to besmirch Mr. Blaylock in any way. I clearly am supposed to know who Mr. Blaylock is, and I'm drawing a blank.
Blaylock is best known for the role of Brian D in the web series video game High School from 2012 to 2014. He also appeared in the Bernie Mac show. I mean, I have no idea. Sorry. But thank you.
No, thank you. And Zocab, I hope you're enjoying Joe Fest. I know Scuba Pete's there, Jeff Barker's there, Bob Breakin is there. So
Josh was the Devil's Due publisher. Sorry.
There you go. A G.I. Joe comic, yep, at Joe Fest. So
no, Devil's Due is a Star Trek Next Generation episode that was originally written for Phase 2. Sorry. I just have to do it to you, Tony. I have to. I'm going to drag you kicking and streaming into that universe now.
I made a Star Trek video once just for you.
I know. I greatly appreciate it.
Johnny Sorensen here, he says, 3 toy greats on screen. Oh, and I guess the playset is okay too. Thank you very much, Johnny.
Fair.
Robert Foley has been a member for 9 months. Thank you very much. And I have a new YouTube channel member here, Jeremy Kerr. Thank you very much, Jeremy. Your support is always appreciated, my friend. It's good to see you here. Are you not at Joe Fest or DFW? I thought you would have been going to one of those. So, okay, back to Palitoy playsets. I think we've discussed the Death Star now. So let's move on to the Droid Factory. Do either of you guys have the Droid Factory in your collection?
I do.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Complete?
It took me. It took me. I found it mostly complete at a comic book shop in 1994 down the street from my house.
Wow.
And it had just come in with a collection. And the only things it was missing were the hoses and the metal rods. And finally, thanks to eBay and me getting off my duff, I was finally able to get said metal hoses and rods. So now mine, yes, is complete.
Yep.
Yes. And mine.
And Shaffer?
Yeah, same. Mine. I got mine complete. Luckily, I was at a very local toy show, just walking around, and I had seen the box when I walked in, and I just assumed it was a box. I didn't think, because the shape of the stuff the rest of the stuff the guy had didn't really catch my eye. But walking back, I stop over and I'm like, is the playset in there? He said, yeah. I said, is it complete? He said, yeah. I said, hoses, axles, every single pin, all the parts for the 3-legged R2, because usually something's missing or broken on that at least.
Mm-hmm.
Nope,
Yep.
complete. And it was what I thought was very reasonable price, so I had to buy it right away. And it came with the box. I didn't care. I'm not a box collector, but it came with the box.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a bonus if the box comes with it. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So a couple of key things.
Sorry, the blueprints, and they're real blueprints. They're not blue lines, blue line drawings like the G.I. Joe stuff. They're blueprints, and they really, I mean, to me, as a kid, that would have been amazing because of there's so much you can do with that. So many different droids you can build.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
So I have to now amend my answer. I don't have the blueprints book.
Oh,
but fortunately, you can get it all day, and it's not very expensive.
This isn't a I have something you don't have.
No, it's not. No, you don't need to look at it that way. Here's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as tonight was the night that we were all having a conversation, and Michael was just able to fill in a lot of gaps for me. That's it.
I will say
go for me in this.
the blue, they're a nicer paper than what like the instructions are made out of and stuff too. So it is kind of nice to have.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm seeing them, then they're very affordable on eBay, which thank
Perfect.
the maker.
That's amazing.
Yep. So
okay.
One key thing to note here, the difference between the Kenner and the Palitoy is the crane is one of the big differences. The Palitoy version doesn't have the crane. This next image, if I think I've got my slide pack correct, yes, this is from the Palitoy 1978 trade catalog, which a lot of the toys featured in that catalog were prototype versions. This looks to me like, I don't know if this is a prototype of the Palitoy version or the Kenner version, but it doesn't really look anything like either of them. With the little lunar rover there down in the corner. But I really do like that 1978 Palitoy Star Wars catalog because the X-Wing looks completely different. The TIE Fighter looks completely different. It's all prototypes. And the 12-inch Luke doll just looks hideous. It's gloriously hideous. He's got like a Lego hair on. It's quite hilarious. But this is the Palitoy version.
Wow.
Very, very different. Completely different box, as you can see in the top right there. No crane.
And it also looks like it's kind of that more sturdy blow molded base rather than a hard plastic.
I think it might be. I think they call it vacuum forming. Vacuum form base, which is outside of the Death Star. Palitoy seemed to do that with all of these early play sets. There were 4 play sets that came out in the first couple of years.
Now, Tony, can you confirm for me which color it actually ended up in? Because on the box it's gray, but in the photo here it's orange.
So I was looking around, as I said, when I came up with this video idea about the Death Star, thinking, well, why don't I do a video about all the Palitoy play sets? Because the 4 unique ones are the first 4. So I started looking around, and most of the images I find online of the actual toy being sold, they are yellow, like in this photograph here.
Okay.
So I think the box actually features an early production sample, and they changed the color later on. Which potentially both colors made it out to market. I don't know.
Right. Well, I bet you the photography would still be using a prototype of some kind. But I just wanted to point out, just as an idle thought, obviously that's pretty close to the same color they used for the Cantina. So I bet you it made sense to, and because the American one was also an orange, deserty, yellow, dusty color, brown, whatever you want to call it, they probably thought, that's fine. However, I will say that, man, if that Droid Factory from Palitoy had been the color of the one on the box, I would really be bankrupting myself right now going after it. Like, that would be really cool to have that kind of variation on that toy.
It would be. Okay. You're going to bankrupt yourself then, because the Rage of Crom says Blue was also released.
Oh, for the love. Oh, here we go. Oh, don't. But dear Michael, don't look it up on eBay for yourself. But Michael, I want to look it up on eBay. Don't, Michael. Don't do it. I'm doing it. No,
Michael, I may have saved you the time here.
Oh no,
because here we've got an example of a complete Kenner Droid Factory. So this was sold for a best offer, $350. The guy probably took $320, something like that. So that's a complete Kenner version. And the Palitoy version, it's a similar price, but I believe, if I remember correctly, this was the yellow version. I didn't actually look up.
I can see the yellow lip of the plastic down there.
Yeah. That obviously that's in Australian dollars. That's roughly the same. So these 2 sets roughly go for the same price. I imagine though that the blue version would be different.
I'm going to do completed listings and see what comes up at the highest price.
So the vacuum form, that's where there's a die there's a piece of plastic that's heated and very, very flexible, and it just puts it down and it sucks it too. And there's a piece of cardstock on the bottom of that, right? Like glued to the bottom of the playset underneath.
I'm not certain about that.
Okay. I want to say I think I saw the bottom of one once, and I think I could be wrong though.
Yep.
It's interesting, on eBay UK, most of the Droid Factories are the Kenner versions.
Wow.
Oh, what's this one? What's this one? Is it blue? Oh my gosh, it's blue. And oh my gosh, the starting price.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what's the price?
500 quid.
Jesus.
So an auction, and that's the starting price?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And is that the complete playset or just the blue base?
With the box and the base. It looks like it has every piece.
Wow.
It's got the sticker still on it.
Damn.
Oh.
And you just put away your Droid Factory from display. So
I did put it away. I don't hate it at all. It's just that the Droid Factory to me was always like the interior of the sand crawler in a way.
Same.
And I thought, okay, well, it's weird that I have it on display next to the sand crawler. And I just got that cool homestead, the Lars homestead, to display with my vintage figures. So I thought, well, if I want things on display that the figures can really operate around, the Droid Factory is the one you retire from display to make room for more of the environmental kind of look. And so that's what I did. But I had it on display for a long time.
I've contemplated exactly what you're saying. It's the same. It's the interior to me. It's blown up. The job, build your thing. But it's not the landscape of the display of the shelf that you're going for in that whole Tatooine idea.
Yep.
So yeah,
exactly.
I've struggled with, because shelf space is a premium. I've thought about, if I took that away, I could add that and move this over. And
Yep.
So do either of you guys have is it Jabba's Dungeon, which is just like the recolored Droid Factory?
Michael does.
Oh, no, I don't.
Oh, I thought you had one of the two redone dungeons.
No, I had an opportunity to get it several years ago. Because all I need is the dungeon itself. I'm not going after a boxed example with all those figures in it that are, and they redid that. They re-released that Jabba's Dungeon in Power of the Force as well for 85 with new figures in the mix. And I just felt like, I don't know, once you have the Droid Factory and you have it for what it was originally built and designed to do, the other one just looks like a stripped down, slightly remolded thing that has a crane to hold one figure upside down, and otherwise there's nothing on that play set to do. So it's like, it wasn't like this in the movie, and I've already got the Droid Factory, so I'd never made it a priority to get either of those variations on it.
I agree.
Yeah.
I was.
Is that one hard
on
get?
for that?
What's that?
Is the Jabba's Dungeon hard to get? Like, I know it came boxed with last 17 figures, so getting a box one with those figures would be difficult, but
I don't think it's that hard to get. It's just a matter of what price, the specific. So like right here on US eBay, there's one here and they want $150 for it. It's the sandy colored one. Then you've got the gray one, and people are ranging the price, anywhere from, like with the box for the 83 version, which is not the one with the rarer figures. They want $279, and it's the figures and the playset. There's one guy here who's got the figures, unused sticker sheet, the box and instructions, and he wants $755 for it. And then you got a guy here who has a graded boxed 85 Jabba's Dungeon with the last 17 figures on it, and of course he wants $11,000, which is like, please. Okay, so there's one guy here who's more reasonable. He's got the 1985 version with the figures from last 17 still with it. It looks like an unused sticker sheet. I think, unless that's that's a real sticker sheet. And he wants 1,800, but everything looks unused. So it's like, yeah, you're getting the box, the sticker sheet, you're getting the figures. They are last 17 figures. They're all unmolested. So yeah, in that sense, that's probably a more fair price for that. But again, there's nothing going on with that. It's literally a ramp for a vehicle that isn't there anymore, a staircase, a crane, and it's just a place for people to stand around. And otherwise, that playset's just going to collect a lot of dust in nooks and crannies while the figures collect dust standing on it. I don't see the point.
The only thing, like Michael said, it takes away all those things, and the only thing it adds, and you again have to have a hard on to really want to torture a gonk droid, is that stupid added piece of plastic that does the branding of the feet in that one scene. But it's I mean, the play value as a kid, I would have thought that was lame compared to and they must have made a ton more of the second two versions, because that first version was in and out very quickly. Much like the Death Star, the original Death Star wasn't around long either. So
it's the first version was really clever, and it was the way that you got the proper R2D2 that had the rolling leg.
Exactly.
And that was really cool to discover that after the fact. As a kid, I would have killed to have an R2 with the rolling leg. I never had that opportunity, but that makes the Droid Factory a very credible entry in the Kenner line. Whereas the Jabba's dungeon variants, they are just ways to package a group of new figure offerings together and kind of sell it at a higher price point. And now I call those, vintage secondhand market cash grabs is what they are.
Speaking of cash grab, Tim Ward said if they gave that dungeon 100 cups, they could sell it as a house grab. There is actually, so a lot of these early play sets, like the Kenner Death Star playset, were not continued on in the Star Wars run beyond Empire Strikes Back. There is an Empire Strikes Back version of the Droid Factory, like it comes in an Empire box that is, from what I've heard, very, very rare. Same toy, just you're paying the money for the box.
Does it still have Jawas on the box with the Droid Factory?
I couldn't be certain.
Because it would be really clever of them had they done that and put Ugnaughts on it instead. Then if they had Ugnaughts on the box for the Empire version, I would be that guy who's like, I got to get that box. I got to have that box. Let's see if I can find a Droid Factory vintage Empire box. Let's see.
I want to say Luke Skywalker's on the box of the Empire one.
Oh, yeah, they just changed the logo. I'm looking at it right now. Obi-Wan is standing there with him. What are they doing? Obi-Wan, Luke, 2 Jawas, and R2-D2 with the rolling leg, and then all the... what a waste of opportunity.
Burning Jawas? Like, what the hell did they think it is? Like the burning Jawa pit? Or
well, what's interesting, this is something where I'd want to go to Replicator boxes and say, hey, can we do up, I'll get you the photography, but can we do up a Droid Factory custom box with the Empire Strikes Back logo, but it has Ugnaughts and Chewbacca and the busted up C-3PO in there instead?
Yeah.
That would be a really cool variation.
It would.
Yeah.
Because I also want him to, I've been saying it for years and I haven't really pulled the trigger on it. I also want him to do a custom box for me for the battle damage TIE fighter, but with the Empire logo instead of the Jedi logo. Because it's in the asteroid field on the box. So it's like, anyway, I'm digressing, but yes, that's cool to know.
And the blue tie is still your favorite of the 5 original? 4 original?
Yeah, I mean, like, I always loved the Darth Vader TIE fighter because it was the only one I had growing up. I love the imposing silhouette and profile of the Interceptor. It's a good looking toy. Yeah. I don't have any meh feelings for any of the TIE fighters, but the one that pops for me is that blue TIE fighter. That's the one. It's like, oh man, that one's good. So yeah, because of my love for Empire.
Yep.
Oh well.
Now we get to the Land of the Jawas playset. Now, again, I don't have any of these early Kenner playsets outside of the Death Star. Something about these playsets with the cardboard backdrops has never really appealed to me. Probably because I didn't see they were around in the UK, but I didn't see them when I was a kid. For me, Star Wars as a kid was figures and vehicles. I don't think I had any playsets. I didn't really see a lot of stuff. But you guys both have this in your collection?
Yes.
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, this is one of the first things that I ever got to buy as a collector in the 90s at that same. I bought this the same day that I bought the Droid Factory at that comic book shop. And this one still had its box with it, which was really exciting to me because this was only sold during the Star Wars era. And I was born when the Star Wars toy era was going on at its height. And I missed out on it until I got, older and, again, tail end of Empire through Jedi. But to actually have one of the boxes with the double racetrack and the original logo and everything on it, that was huge for me as a collector when I was only, 15, 16 years old. This was a big deal. So, yeah, I've had that one for a while.
So, Jason Henderson just made me dirty laugh.
Oh, man. I also liked his comment a little earlier where he said, spring-loaded Ugnaught 3PO head throwing action, ham-bone McGillicuddy. Ham-bone McGillicuddy for life.
Oh, that's good shit. It displays really well, though. It's. I know what you're saying, Tony. As a kid, I didn't have any Star Wars play sets. It was same vehicles and figures for me. That was the way I saw it. And I mean, I wanted them, but I didn't have any. Really wanted Dagobah. Anyway, yeah, they're because I knew I wasn't going to ever spend the money on the Sonic controlled Sandcrawler. So this was a way for me to get a Kenner Sandcrawler.
Well, now I'm looking at acquiring one of these for a couple of reasons. One, I don't think I'm going to own that radio controlled Sandcrawler either, and this one comes with the escape pod. It's like the only way to get the escape pod, which I think is pretty cool. But the Palitoy version of this was again markedly different. So this is the kind of version. This is basically what it comes with. Did this playset come packaged with a Jawa action figure?
No, not to my knowledge.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
Because
I never saw it on the box. I have a box and it doesn't say anything about that.
The Palitoy one did. So the Palitoy one doesn't come with the escape pod. Again.
Hello?
Did we lose Tony?
I think we might have. Is that
Tony?
a third leg on that?
Yeah, there's a third. And he's got the wrong main legs. Tony, you glitched out for a second. You need to
my internet just cut out for a second. I'm back.
So repeat what you said, Tony, because we lost your whole sentence.
Yeah. So this one doesn't come with the escape pod, and I believe this came packaged with a Jawa action figure. And also this weird action stand that you can see R5D4 on there.
Yeah, and it's also again one of those vacuform bases. Which they were known for. I love the vacuform base though because it's a totally different sculpt. It could be an extension of the Tatooine sand area. That would be really useful.
And because it's lower, it would also give a little bit of variation. Yeah.
Yep. R2, as Michael and I were just noticing. He's the Droid Factory one, but he also has the wrong side legs on him in the photo. But I wondered, I was like, wait, did they package a Droid Factory R2 with that as well? Because that would really sweeten the deal.
Oh yeah.
I don't believe they did. No, this was just early an early production photo that was taken. The photographer probably didn't even realize which R2D2 he was putting on there, And
are those Jawa figure stands glued onto the base, or are they like those Palitoy ones we were talking about earlier?
They're like the Palitoy ones, but they are molded in the same color as the vacuum form base, so they're quite rare.
God, the headache! The headache of finding those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you see the white line on the edges? That's why I'm thinking something's on the back of that thing, on the back of the base. If you just
so you think there's a piece of cardboard stuck to the bottom? Yeah.
Not to keep harping on it. I see it in the picture and it keeps making me think
I might have an answer for that. Just as I hit my light and almost kill myself. Stand right here.
It's wild the stuff you see on some of these these pictures that aren't even like we were saying the R2 aren't even.
Sorry, keep talking, Mike.
No, I was done.
Okay, so I was recently gifted from Scuba Pete one of the Palitoy inspired custom play sets that is made in the same way that the Palitoy ones like this were made, and this is the detention center play set. Which
nice.
It's not this the tractor beam thing. Popped off, but the cardboard bottom gives it its rigidity, and then it's just but it helps it remain sturdy and not get crushed. But it's a really thick vacuum plastic too. It's not like a cheap Christmas decoration or anything.
Right. Like Tony said, corrected us and correctly. It's not blow mold. It's vacuum formed, which is well. I mean, we all know how fragile the real blow mold shit is. It's
yeah. It's not a clever name. It blows.
No, it really does.
So, a nice complete Kenner Land of the Jawas with a box, instructions. This is, you can, the way the guy's listed here, it says complete beauty. I mean, that looks like a really, really nice box and everything. So this sold for $490 back in April. Probably because of the condition of the box. Nice example. You can get, without the box, you probably get this for around the $300 mark.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God.
Wow. Michael's just hearing the money fly out of his bank account.
Well, I mean, at least in the case of this, I have the Kenner version, which is they are of a companion piece. They're both trying to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. So
all of the cardboard with the elevator and all of that, that's the same. It's literally the base that's different.
Yeah. And so in that particular sense, I'm like, well, if I can just find the Palitoy base plate, that would satisfy my, but yeah, whereas the Palitoy Death Star and the Kenner Death Star, totally different. This one, it hurts, but it's not a fatal wound. It's like my brain will survive it,
I really like the box though.
Yeah.
The kid on the box looks like a lot better than the kid.
Yeah, that blonde kid.
Yeah,
looks like he's one of the Von Trapp kids.
A young Jeffrey Dahmer, yeah. Jason says. Yeah, I've been looking around at these.
Yeah.
Did they do their racetrack different? No, I guess not.
I can't remember. Michael, help me out. The base plate of the American version, does it have Sandcrawler tracks molded into it?
Okay. It's identical. Yep. And those follow over to the twice used in Hoth. Those same tracks are
Yep. Okay. Because the Droid Factory from Palitoy has them on the opposite corner, which is pretty interesting.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it looks good. I mean, there's one online right now on eBay UK, but it's loose, complete with the Jawa and the figure stands and everything, and it's like it's 325 pounds. So it's but it's in good shape. Like it's in good nick, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm glad I got this stuff when I did, because the prices today, Jesus.
Yep.
Mine is, look at me. Mine's unpunched. The little hole in the thing is still there.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Well, I've saved the best for last, I think.
Oh, yes. This is the one Michael's been considering, I think, before this all started.
There was a couple of reasons that I say I've saved the best for last, because right now, Hasbro is trying to get $500 for a Mos Eisley Cantina diorama set of whatever. This is a playset that I've wanted for a while. Kenner called it the Creature Cantina. There is also the Cantina Adventure set, which is it's a cardboard backdrop, which is more like out the front of the Cantina. Famously comes with the blue snaggletooth as his exclusive. But the Star Wars Creature Cantina playset, these have gone up in price lately.
I don't understand that. They sold these by the millions. I don't understand.
I know. I know. I think it's just that they're all squirreled away in collections now. And if you want to get a complete one with, original doors, the good condition cardboard or that kind of thing, but they called it the Creature Cantina. Palitoy just called it the Cantina.
Right.
This again is an early prototype image. Does he see how you've actually got like a printing on the base that makes it look like stone cobbles?
Yep.
That's not on the actual final production example, is it?
No, it's not. Well, it has the texturing of the floor, but it's all part of the same color. So there's no grout in between the stonework.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no grout painted in. The grout is actually textured there, but it's not. It's still the same color as the base.
Yeah, that looks like a flat 2-dimensional sticker to me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is, like Michael said, has the texture and everything.
So again, this is from that 1978 Palitoy trade catalog, which
that's cool.
This isn't the Palitoy Cantina. This is a prototype image of the American Kenner version. Quite a simple playset, cardboard backdrop. You've got the two opening plastic doors. You come in. The bar is made of plastic. It rises up out of the base. I'm not sure if is it a separate piece or it's molded that way.
You're talking about the door frame?
No, the bar.
No, the
bar is a
separate. The bar and the table are part of it. They're like part of the base.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I thought no, I guess you're right. I don't know why I thought one of them popped in, but I guess it's been so long.
Or maybe you're right. Maybe mine's just, I got it at that comic book shop. So maybe because mine's always been built, I haven't bothered to look.
Hold on. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna just look now. I have to.
It appears in photographs online of ones that are, unbuilt, that the tables are molded as part of the base plate. They don't look like they fell off.
100% part of the thing, not a separate part.
Yep.
I can, the glass, you can just look right under the damn thing. You don't have to.
Oh yeah, good point.
Pick it out.
So this employs those action levers that they carried on using, like even on Dagobah, where you'll see just below Walrus Man there's the little lever where he's on a figure stand, and as you turn that lever, it would make him turn, and you can have Obi-Wan chop his arm off. You got the table in the corner there with Han, Greedo, and Chewie, and then some steps leading up into it as a fairly simple playset.
It's the two places the only action in the whole damn thing took. I mean, that's all you needed.
Yeah.
Nothing else happened there other than the music, and they're there in the background.
So the Palitoy Cantina is...
Yeah.
It's similar, but there are a lot of differences. So first of all, again, I really like the box art. I think that's the same kid who is on the Land of the Jawas box as well. This base actually has some steps leading up into the doorway. The bar is different because it's not molded. The upright section is actually additional cardboard. This also came with the yellow, so like these figure stands, but molded in the same color as the base. I really like this playset.
Yeah, and I absolutely love the fact that the right lower corner is now a seating area.
Yes.
Look, I'm not wild about the cardboard doors because those little cardboard nubs that will keep it on the door frame are going to wear out pretty quickly. But that being, a thing like that would have been a concern if I was 8, but now I'm 45. So, it'd be on display. But I absolutely love that lower right corner and the way it looks. It's so cool. It's not just steps,
I totally agree. Yeah.
I don't believe that. So, yes, the doors are cardboard. What's my next slide here? The doors are cardboard. If you have a look at the top of one of the doors there's actually like a metal clip that holds the door in place. It's not a nub. It's designed differently to the plastic door. There's two metal clips for each door, top and one bottom. Which actually, if you want a mint example, that they're prone to rusting. So there's an issue here. But this is the same weird action stand that came with the Land of the Jawas playset. So rather than the action stand being incorporated into the base, this you could pick up and move around. So where you've got Greedo and Obi-Wan on the stands, and it's got the levers either side, you basically grab both levers and kind of push them together and pull them apart, and it turned the stands to get that sort of action feature going on.
As much as I love this variation, because I love Palitoy, if I could only get one more variation of this playset, I would get the Real West version, the Saloon Real West version, because I need a Ravenwood bar for my Indiana Jones line. But that being said, as pricey as this Palitoy Cantina is on the secondhand market, at least you can still get it. Whereas the Real West Saloon is like, hey, how about you give me your firstborn and, I don't know, commit yourself to hell in the afterlife, and maybe we'll find one for you. Like it's, yeah.
Is there no one around who, surely someone does like reproduction backdrops where you could just get a Creature Cantina and change the backdrop to make it look like the Ravenwood bar?
You absolutely could. And there's even a guy on eBay that does custom versions of the door. He does it so that the door looks like saloon doors. I would love to get a custom 3D print job to make it look like the door of the bar from Raiders, which was so key in that moment when Tote comes in. That door played a large role in that scene with the diamond window sort of pattern and everything. Anyway, but yeah, the reason that I still would prefer the Real West one, even over reskinning a Star Wars version, is because the base plate and everything was in a darker brown, and it was completely retextured to look like a wood floor.
So they changed the texturing in the base away from like cobblestones to be wooden.
Yeah, and I know that I'm pretty sure that that probably wouldn't be as accurate, because the Ravenwood bar, I believe, had a stone floor. So I'm probably talking myself out of my own logic right now. But I just think the color scheme of it really lent itself to that. Let me look at it right here. I found a photo of it.
Wonder how hard that would be if you could chemically etch it so you could paint it.
Oh yeah, good point.
Instead of, because you don't really want to sand that kind of thing, but if you could acetone clean it, or something that could put a tooth to the plastic that it would really take, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a guy that sells a total conversion kit to turn it into the real a Star Wars one into a Real West one, which makes me wonder if maybe that's why the Cantinas have been going up in price lately, because people are now like people have made YouTube videos about it apparently. But
they're not going up because of the HasLab thing, are they?
I can't imagine. I can't imagine that would be the case. No, it looks, you know what? I'm wrong. It actually does still have the stone floor texturing, but because it's in brown, it just gives it a totally different atmosphere. Yeah.
Okay. I really do, like you said, though, the that seating area there down in the bottom right corner, and having the stairs going up into it's kind of cool too.
Yes, absolutely. The only drawback to that very excellent bit of style is that nobody has knees to take advantage of it.
Yeah. So true.
Yep, there is that. So as I mentioned earlier, I came up with this idea to try and do a video about all the Palitoy playsets and just realized it was not financially viable. But if I was going to get anything, now that Hasbro are doing this HasLab for a Cantina and it's probably trending and social media, I thought, well, maybe if I just did a video comparing the Palitoy and the Kenner versions just of the Cantina, that would be a pretty cool video. And it is a playset that I really, really want. I was shocked at the price of a Kenner Creature Cantina. Obviously, this is a very nice condition one, unused stickers in a box. $350 US for this really common playset is just
that's insane.
Yeah,
that is insane.
Here in Australia, for me to get a loose complete one, I'd be looking still at around $250.
That's nuts. I remember for years and years, you could get complete Cantinas for like $60.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was high. Like you could still find deals on them. And then all of a sudden it's like, boom, now everybody wants the Cantina. I don't get it.
Yeah. The only thing that was expensive before, not the only, but the cardboard Cantina, entire thing that was, or Moss Eisley, whatever the hell they called it. I forget what they called it, but that one was the only one that was expensive because of blue snaggletooth and all that shit. But this was, this was nothing. Used to be.
Yeah, Jeremy Kerr says, not financially viable. Everyone has a third mortgage these days. I'm not taking out a mortgage for toys. So,
but you didn't even negotiate with them.
So over the last week or so, I was getting very, very, very tempted by this nice Palitoy Cantina. And as Michael will know, YouTube payments, your monthly revenue, it comes in around the 21st. For me in Australia, because of the time difference, it's the 22nd. Because the 22nd fell on a Saturday, bank transactions in Australia don't kind of happen on the weekend. I'm waiting till Monday. I was going to purchase a Palitoy Cantina when my YouTube payment came in. And then some bastard purchased the one I wanted to get last Wednesday.
Oh.
But this is the item I was going to get.
Wow.
$726 US dollars.
Wow.
It's insane.
That's one of those ones where I just save the photo and get ready to Photoshop it for a future video.
Yes.
This is what it looked like. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was another one up for sale as well, was similar price, but as I said, that one, the metal clips that hold the cardboard doors were all rusted all to hell. This one was nice condition. The box was pretty good. But yeah, somebody beat me to it. It was a buy it now, and it didn't last long, unfortunately.
They
don't turn up that often. So
yeah, they don't come up, and they don't come up in that condition either. So
complete with the yellow figure stands and everything. So
yep.
Yeah, instructions, the sticker. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
wow.
Jason Evangelista asks, was it Bobby Valla that bought that Cantina playset?
Probably. No, because I haven't said anything to Bobby about wanting this. So if I had, it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, he doesn't know I'm chasing this at the moment. So
I know that Scuba Pete bought one a few months ago, and it was one that
Palitoy Cantina.
Yeah, it had been online for a little while, and we had both been chatting about the Palitoy Cantina, and he picked it up. I was really happy for him. I'm like, dude, good on you,
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then I joked with him, and I said that's better money invested than in any Eternia playset, because of course he has both of them. I had a good chuckle over that. So,
but it also wouldn't surprise me if you told that story and told me that Pete got it for $40.
Oh, I know. It wouldn't surprise me if I told the story and I said, yeah, Pete woke up the next morning and walked out his back door and tripped over one that was just left there.
Yeah. It was just on the porch.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
Oh,
he paid,
the vintage
paid-
toy fairy.
yeah, he paid for one, and it normal price. You know, it was really
Yeah.
good condition, but somehow there was a blue snaggletooth inside.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, a blue snaggletooth inside, and some, underneath one of the tables or benches or whatever, he found stuck in there some very rare accessory variant of some blaster or something like that. Yeah.
Double telescoping lightsaber, something.
That is the Scuba Pete, stroke of luck.
He has that magic. Yeah.
Matt Movie 611, thank you very much for the kind super chat. He says, just wanted to stop by and say the Palitoy Death Star rocks, just like Analog Toys. It's very kind of you, Matt. I've seen on social media that he's been watching all of the Bad Boys movies and doing little write-ups on Facebook. I always enjoy reading his take. He's from a different generation, but he appreciates the films of our generation and earlier. So I'm assuming he's getting ready for the new film coming out. So
also he's just one of those people that's wired to be a cinephile. He has that curiosity of just going back and watching cinema of any era, which is, those people are rare in every generation. I know what that loneliness feels like.
I've watched Zulu twice this week, but that's in preparation for a video. But I can watch that movie anytime. Well, gentlemen, that's the end of my slideshow presentation.
Oh, you
those those are the four main Palitoy playsets that were markedly different. Then when we get into the Empire Strikes Back, although Palitoy was still selling these playsets in 1980, where Kenner, I think, dropped them 78, 79, and then they dropped them.
Right.
Palitoy sold them for one more year. If that means that there are Empire Strikes Back versions of boxes, I'm not even going to look at that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
The tail end variant. Yeah, that would be wow.
Yeah. So is anyone here on screen going to rush out after this and buy a Palitoy playset?
Rush out? I wouldn't say I rush out, but I'm still looking. I'm eyeing up that Death Star constantly. I really am.
I would say for anybody who is like the three of us, the Palitoy Death Star is like the one. Like, because as cool as, and I'm taking nothing away from the playsets I'm about to mention, as cool and innovative as the resculpting in those areas of those other playsets are, they are literally trying to serve the same function as the Kenner. So if you're fortunate enough to have the Palitoy one and you can't necessarily stretch your budget to get a Kenner, you're not at a loss.
Right.
And vice versa, you're not quite at a loss if you can't get the Palitoy Land of the Jawas, but you've already got the Kenner one. Yep. But with the Palitoy Death Star, it's like these two things are not the same. The experiences are totally different. Jason
Anderson says he doesn't even collect toys and he wants a Palitoy Death Star.
Right.
It's just one of those, legendary unicorn pieces.
And with replicator boxes, maybe doing another run of them at some point, because I assume if they sold out, it means they're in demand. That would be a great way to get it too, because that's the great thing about the way it was constructed. It's not like getting a 3D printed piece of a old plastic toy, and the 3D printed piece is never going to quite be visibly correct. Whereas double printed cardstock with the right graphics at the right resolution, it's going to do literally what the other one did with no change. As long as you got the right thickness and everything like that, you're good.
Yep.
So, the
only thing you have to do is get the clips.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt because he makes cardboard. He doesn't make. I doubt it has this chute. The garbage chute.
But those, some people replicate those.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And the stands don't. No offense.
Yeah, stands. Get a bag of star stands.
Right. And
I think probably the most challenging piece to get is the gunner's turret. So like
yes,
you can get X-wing cannons for the Palitoy X-wing cannons are a different plastic,
right.
sorry, to the Palitoy ones, but you could use either. They're the same size, they fit. But yeah, it's getting that little vacuum formed gunner's seat and the canopy to go over the top.
Yeah.
So are the Palitoy guns on the cannon? Are they the Palitoy X-wing guns, or are they their own animal altogether?
No, they're Palitoy X-wing guns, and just the feel of the plastic is which we did that video years back about the Palitoy X-wing, and the type of plastic is very different. So
right.
Alejandro asked me, have I watched the prequel Zulu Dawn? Yes, I've watched the prequel Zulu Dawn many times. My dad had me watching all these kind of films in childhood. I watched it again recently. I know Zulu Dawn is more historically accurate than Zulu, but I still much prefer the film Zulu. It's a more entertaining film. The British don't lose in Zulu. They get massacred in Zulu Dawn. Zulu Dawn also, there's a lot of preamble in both films, but I find the 1964 Zulu with Michael Caine and Stanley Baker to be thoroughly engaging all the way through. I find the first hour of Zulu Dawn to be a slog. It's just boring. So there you go. There's my thoughts on Zulu Dawn.
You can get oh, come on, don't. Is it really going to do this? Is it really going to do this? It looked like there was a website. Oh no, Malware Bytes is like, don't go there. I'm like, okay, good. But it looks like there's a number of people who replicate the canopy for the turret.
Oh, that's good.
Nicely, yeah.
Now those two things were blow molded, weren't they?
Yeah, yes, they were either blow molded or small vacuum formed pieces. But yes,
they're like brittle. If I remember seeing them, and they're pretty brittle.
Yeah, this one's a little. This guy here has a version that's a little chin. Yeah, that one's rough. But there's so many options. I bet if you shopped around long enough, you would find a really, really good reproduction of the whole setup. This one here is actually not bad. This is one on eBay that's pretty clean. It's out of Britain, of course, but it's a clean one. In other words, when I'm looking at the photos, the 3D print looks clean on the whole thing, and the canopy is clear as it should be. So, and the canopy has no. It looks like the canopy was not 3D printed, but properly like molded. So it doesn't have any like striation lines or anything in it. So
yeah, that clears really hard to print. Without that. That's cool.
Yep.
You were going to Palitoy Death Star one day, Mr. Shaffer.
Oh yeah. No.
Oh,
like if you rush out and you buy the one now that's on eBay US, I'd love it because Bobby will just lose his mind. He's been eyeing it up for so long. It's probably a little overpriced though, not massively, but a little overpriced.
I will have to give it a look
I think the one I'm talking about is being sold by Wheeljack's Labs. It's quite a well-known eBay seller, it's a big kind of online store.
Yep.
Oh, and you can get the clips. You can get whole piles of the clips for very affordable prices. Like the black clips. Like there's a guy here in Canada that's got like, let's see, 9 of them for $40, which is not bad when you consider that it's for the Palitoy Death Star. Yeah. So like the way I'm looking at this, if replicators had been doing the Palitoy Death Star back then, before William ended up dropping one in my lap, I could see myself going this route and doing the replicated version and then getting the pieces that I needed, just to have one because I'm talking about nothing, but you know what I'm saying. So
yeah, no, I've eyed it up, and that was the consideration because you look at the price, you look at the quality. What is the quality going to be of something old and used? And the better that quality, the price goes up. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Just doing the calculation.
And
because I forget. I think Yes, the backdrop to my Cantina adventure playset, the action one, that is a replicator box because it's perfect. Because you know how thin and
Yep.
And it's perfect. So, and
Jason Evangelista, thank you for the super chat. He says, "Great show showcasing these vintage Kenner and Palitoy Star Wars playsets. Great show, Tony. Thank you very much." And Jason, thank you very much for supporting the channel on Patreon. I got a notification on my phone says you've just joined the Patreon, so thank you very much for that as well. George Aitken says the Palitoy Death Star makes you proud to be British. The film Zulu makes me proud to be British as well. And George also says, "Isn't Bobby after a Z-Force headquarters?" Yeah, I think he is, but I think what he's more interested in is the cardboard Action Force headquarters from '82, which a lot of people think is a repurposed Death Star. It's completely different. They just took the same concept.
Yep.
Where the Death Star is pretty much like the base is a circle. The Action Force headquarters is more like a hexagon. The same concept, a completely different construction. So
I've still got to take the one that George so kindly surprised me with. It has one area of the base. It's a small corner of it where it's like kind of like curling up. Not the whole piece is curling up. It's not the surface coming off. The whole piece is kind of curling up, and I've been meaning to like do the whole thing where you get it on a flat surface, put a towel over it, and iron it, and get it to lay back down. I just haven't done it yet. So
George is saying he's got 9.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, me neither.
It's like I don't build the Pentagon. George can build the octagon of Action Force headquarters. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
Slacker Supreme here says the day I actually get my Palitoy collection completed will be mostly anticlimactic, but still worth the money. Let me tell you about an anticlimactic collecting experience. That is completing the original Kenner Star Wars figure run, because I ended it with the 4 Ewoks. And I was bitter and angry for months, as I was once every 2 or 3 weeks, I was forking out $200-300 for a fucking Ewok.
You messaged me because it's funny. My last figure was an Ewok too. So yeah, I know that underwhelming feeling. Well, it's just like, okay, that's done. I really wish it would have been something else, you know, any other figure other than General Madine. But yeah, I mean, it's a disappointing way to finish such a lifelong collecting that you've done of it. Really, you've been collecting Star Wars basically your whole life.
Yeah, which it was probably so anticlimactic and disappointing, which is why following that, I was like, yeah, I'm just going to go out and buy a Taiwan Farm Boy Luke for like $200. That is a beautiful Luke, though.
Oh, it's the best Tatooine Luke they made. Like, because that is one of my acute childhood memories that I've never been able to really base a video around yet. But you would flip those Return of the Jedi card backs over to check your collection and see how many you were missing. And in that era, with that yellow background, the Tatooine Luke they always used was the maple-haired Luke Skywalker, who was never in stores when you ran across maple hair, or when you ran across Tatooine Luke, which we called Desert Luke in my household. And we ended up with a yellow-haired one off the Gunner card. I'll never forget that. We got him on the Gunner card. And it was only years and years later, because growing up, I saw other kids that had the dark brown-haired Tatooine Luke Skywalker. And so I knew that one existed. And apparently that one was a little more common during the Empire era of card backs. That's what I've been told. But I never saw that maple-haired one except on the back of those Jedi card backs. And that's the one I wanted because my Bespin Luke had the same hair color. He looked more realistic. And then finally we find out, most of those ended up in the UK, Europe, Canada. It's like, of course they did. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
But I had like the stock standard blonde Farm Boy Luke in childhood in the UK.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And Bespin Luke, he was blonde as well. I didn't even know about the color variations until much later on in life. So
Right, right. Well, no, that's the thing. You know, the other variations, like the yellow hair for both of those, was numerous. I mean, it was ubiquitous. It was everywhere in the marketplace. That's why everybody still remembers the toy of Luke Skywalker as always having that primary yellow hair. So
yeah,
yeah.
we like I have a vague memory. Vague. I have a memory of receiving Bespin Luke on the card back, opening the card. I didn't know of that he came with a lightsaber until I was 13, 14 years old and was interested in toy collecting. I took that thing off the card, and I don't know if it was sticky tape to the side of the bubble, and I just never took it out. Like my Bespin Luke just came with a blaster. That was it.
Oh man.
Maybe I had a rare Palitoy version that was missing the lightsaber. Who knows?
Right. Well, was it Michael? Weren't you the one telling me about the Farm Boy Lukes in Europe that came with the? Or no, maybe it was Chronically telling me about it. There were Farm Boy Lukes in the UK on the tail end run where they didn't have the proper up the arm lightsabers anymore, so they just packaged them with the clip-in lightsabers, and you just stuck them in the hole.
Oh wow!
They fit.
I did that as a kid when I think I had gotten from another kid. It was a Farm Boy Luke, yeah, and I put in the lightsaber in there, yeah, and it fit, yeah. And then it was like, because I hated, that was the only nice thing I liked. I mean, I never played with them, but I'd see it on the back of the card back. The double telescoping, it got to a more realistic length. And when you retracted it, that damn tip didn't stick out. So it looked like it was actually off.
Exactly.
So putting in the second version of the lightsaber into the telescoping hole, that was great. Because again, now you have a hilt. He's holding it, but it's down to the bottom and it's the right length to my imagination. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't like leaving a tip?
What?
So you don't like leaving a tip?
Just the tip. Yeah. I don't want to see just the tip. All in or all out. None of this half shaft shit.
And on that note, I think that's a great way to end the show. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking time out of your Saturday evening to join me and entertain the masses who couldn't make it to DFW and Joe Fest. This has been a great topic, and just watching Michael go down so many rabbit holes in the space of 90 minutes or a bit over 90 minutes now, but it's been wonderful. It really
people think I'm a hater and I'm negative. I'm not. I'm just like, focused and a little bit high strung. I'm not trying to like punch somebody's grandmother. Like,
I think if anyone's trying to suggest you're a hater, they need to go back to the moment when Michael Shaffer mentioned the Darth Vader TIE fighter with the cardboard backdrop, because you got visibly excited.
Oh man, I was already thinking about like, yep, that'll fit on the shelf right behind the. Oh yeah, and the Slave one will too. They'll drop right in there. That'll look good. Oh, those are. Oh no, I gotta get. Yeah, I'm my brain is already like running a mile a minute. So, yeah.
Well, and you don't hate me, so they're proof you're not a hater.
No, and today I actually backed off as part of my budget. I backed off buying that overpriced Disney Music Emporium 5 soundtrack set for Indiana Jones, because I already have all those exact CDs. But as an Indiana Jones guy, I was like, well, maybe I need to get this last edition of this. And I'm like, why am I doing this? And so I backed out of the whole thing. And I'm thinking, well, that means I have some discretionary income left. And Michael's just revealed these vintage backdrops that I don't have. Yeah. So, yeah.
Never ending.
Well, guys, what have you got going on? What's coming up? Michael Shaffer, any more guest appearances on live streams?
Not that I know of. No.
That's what you think.
Well, Michael did mention we're going to do something about sneakers, but that'll be sometime after Batman the Animated Series. So,
Oh no, no. Sneakers is one of those ones we can just drop in and do like paratroopers on D-Day. We can just drop in and be like, we're going to talk about sneakers. So yeah, I'll
You know that
definitely...
movie, right, Tony?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I don't
Just
think I've
making
ever
sure.
seen it.
Oh shit.
He's going to get an education.
Okay.
Yep.
Wanted to say hi to Melinda. She's here in the chat. Says hi, y'all. Palitoy Death Star is amazing. Yes, it is.
In fact, the only playset Melinda has expressed more enthusiasm for unexpectedly than the Palitoy Death Star, which she absolutely thinks from her art student background is stellar, is that Filmation Ghostbusters Command Center. She loves that playset. So, yeah.
But that's an aesthetic, the colors, the way it displays and pops. You know, I understand.
It is a gorgeous playset. Yeah.
Yep.
Michael, what have you got going on? Anything exciting coming up?
Well, speaking of cardboard playsets, just so happens that probably 3 years ago now, or 4, Matt Swafford located for me a playset that I'd been looking for, that I've been aware of since childhood, but never at the time. I was like, whatever. And then I learned that Transformers fans, who I'm not really a Transformers fan, but they aren't aware of it. I'm like, how am I aware of this from back when we were kids and you're not? I have a complete Transformers 1985 Warren Autobot Command Center playset. It was not a Hasbro item, but it was officially licensed, and it was done by a company called Warren. And it is like the Palitoy Death Star. It is a thick cardstock, double printed, not as cool, but still impressive, slot tab construction. And it looks like an Autobot inspired G1 Fortress Command Center. And I'd been meaning to do a video about it, and I never had. And I thought, well, a few days left in June. What can I do? I was like, I should pull that out finally and get that done. Do that. I put it together for the first time in my life. And it came with the one he found for me, came with the box and the instructions. It still had the sprues where you punched out all the pieces, and they were already punched out, but all those parts were still in there. And I put the whole thing together. I had to get the leaf out on the display table in the room to make it fit. The thing's huge. It's this edifice to transform and roll out kind of stuff. Like I swear to God, every time I walk back into that room, it's gotten bigger. I don't even know how that works. So yeah.
They needed we all wanted, at least I wanted like that arc, the ship, something, just, Teletran 1, the whole deal, like something to put. Yeah. So it was,
and this is like, it's not like it's clearly trying to channel that without literally being it, but it's got enough visual features on it that as a kid, you would sit there and say, this is my ARC headquarters. Like it really does. It has the computer room with the big base that is Teletran 1. It's got these sort of beige stone edifices outside that aren't quite the ARC, but they give off the impression that you would need. It's really cool. And, I'm working on a script for that video right now. I'm hoping to shoot it early next week. So, and have that done. It's going to be a cool video.
Nice.
You say every time you walk in the room, it gets bigger. And Melinda says, that's what she said.
But I'll say this. I'll end my comments on this little story. So I posted a photo after I got it built on the RetroBlasting Instagram. And I had all the 1984 Autobots. I took the photo from the interior of the playset with all the Autobots all around the interior. And all these Transformers fans were chiming in, most of them saying they'd never seen that before. What is that? Oh my God, I'm a huge Transformers fan. How did I not know about this? All this kind of stuff. And this one guy, he was like, because there's a big Autobot symbol on the outside of the fortress. So it's a good guy fortress, right? And this one dude did the thing that Tony, you and I loathe. He goes, you forgot Megatron. And I'm like, I couldn't help it. I know Instagram is a bunch of like just wimpy, soft-bellied types. Like their
Yep.
culture is very weird. But I like to spook those horses anyway because they need to toughen up. So I just went at the guy. I was like, so Megatron is the Decepticon that you're going to mention, even though no other Decepticons are in that photo either. It's all the 84 Autobots, all of them, the whole group. And you think that Megatron is supposed to be there because you can't pay attention? Or maybe you have a headcanon where Megatron and Optimus have like a Sunday brunch truce every week where they go have waffles together or something in the morning before they go back and, pick up their mutual war again. What?
They played soccer on Christmas Day.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Fanboys suck at details. They suck.
I mean, other than the pilot, when the hell was Megatron in there? Repair. Right. Other than that, like, wouldn't have made sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
That even as a Transformer, nut, that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. Why would Megatron be standing around in a base surrounded by Autobots and them all just hanging out?
Right.
Like, yeah, I came over to play, double dribble with you guys. I hope you guys get the controllers out. Like,
all my friends are at camp. I have no one to play with, so I'm over here now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm not going to read this comment, but I'll put it on the screen. Thank you, Chronic.
It's just, but yeah, the playset is rare. It's cool. It's esoteric, and yet when you see it and you see all the Autobots with it, you go, man, that kind of completes the set. Like that kind of caps off the whole 84 collection very nicely. So it's got its faults, and you know me, I'll be pointing them out, but it's cool. It's cool.
I look forward to that because I've never been aware of that toy. So
same.
Whenever I see a video where I can learn something new,
I know for a fact it was sold in I know for a fact it was sold in the United States and Canada because my box is bilingual English French. So
there you go.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Whether you're at DFW, Joe Fest, or if you're just at home watching, hope you have a great weekend. Michael and Michael, thank you for being here, and we'll see you all on the next one, whenever that is. Bye, guys.
See you.